Hi and welcome to Outside the Box. Today it's the 11th of November and this is our 13th episode. And as you see, it's only me here, and that's because this episode is going to be a little bit special. I'm going to call the other guys later because today we're going to get to know us a little bit better so you guys know who we are and what we do in Warhammer and what we've done and anecdotes and other things. So I have some prepared questions for them, and I'm going to answer them first, and then I'm going to interview them. And then I have some questions from the community in Sweden. Not many, because we only have 30 minutes, so I'm going to keep it kind of short. The first question I'm going to ask them is, who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? And what do you do for a living? And my name is Habsberg. I live in Stockholm. I work with business intelligence as a developer. That's about it. And I play Warhammer. I have a little daughter who's almost 1 year, and I live with my girlfriend in our apartment here. Looking for a house, but it's kind of tough in Stockholm, Sweden right now. And how long have you been playing Warhammer, and how were you introduced to the game? I played Epic first, and I've always played strategy games and always played games that made you compete against other players and not computers or AI. I want to beat other people. I've been playing Warhammer for I think it's 6-7 years now, 6 years, and really like it. It's great. So which armies do you own? Right now I own a crippled Hive army. By crippled I mean it's a 7th edition Hive army that I bought. I also have started and painted up a lot of demons, some cave dwarfs and some dark elves. But I also have wood elf army, which I also bought, and then a small lizardman army. So fourth question was, which army do you prefer? I prefer High Elves. It's not the strongest army. It has never been the strongest army as long as I've played, but it's really versatile. It's not the best at anything, but it's not the worst at anything. I don't really like the Banner of the World Dragon, the type of armies we're seeing right now. I like to mix it up and do some crazy shit sometimes. So at the tournament not long ago, I played a kind of a 7th edition army because I wanted to use my own army and my own models. So I took what I had and I ended up in 3rd place. So it was really nice. And the 5th question is, which army have you not played on tournaments? Right now I only think it's Tomb Kings and Beastmen are the only 2 armies I haven't played. Then I'm not counting the new ones like Undead Legion and things like that, but the basic armies. And the 6th question is, which army would you like to play at the tournament that you haven't? And to be honest, I don't really like Tomb Kings. I loved the Tomb Kings when they had the old rules with all the movement spells. It was really nice. I didn't play them then, but I liked how they kind of fit in the Warhammer scene. I think they are making the armies a little bit too generic now. I like the diversion. So I would go for the Beastmen. I wouldn't play the Beastmen at the tournament, but the administrators or the guys holding the tournament, they changed a little bit in the ETC rules. They had the ETC restrictions, but you didn't get the 10% deduction and things like that, and then the army isn't viable, I think. So I skipped that. But that would probably be the next of the 2 armies that I want to play. So which tournament win are you most proud of outside the ETC? I wasn't in the ETC team this year when they won because I had my little baby and I stepped away from the captain's role. I'm the captain for 2015, so our goal here will be to be the first country. I think no country has ever defended their title, and we're going to try to do that. But the things I'm most proud of, I think it's the second place at the GotCon. It's a large tournament in Sweden, about 80 players around that, sometimes smaller and sometimes bigger. And it's held at a convention, and it's held in Gothenburg. And it usually attracts a lot of people playing different games, but also a 40k tournament and a Warhammer tournament. So I've ended up in second place at that. And then I'm also very proud of my third place in the Swedish Championship. I'm not sure which year it is, if it was 2011 or 12, don't remember. But I played an army that's not that good in that kind of environment. But a bit of luck with the pairings and for me some great play from my part gave me the third place. And so who is your nemesis in Warhammer is the 8th question. I'm not sure. I mean, Kai is a really tough player in Sweden who's been in the ATC team. I've played him I think only once, maybe twice. I met him in tag teams, but in single tournaments only once or twice, and I think we've drawn. And I met Christian, also a really good player, and I think he has like a 3-1 win against me, win streak or something like that. But then, to be honest, my biggest nemesis is two brothers, two twins, or they're triplets, but there are only two of them playing Warhammer, and it's the Scott brothers. They've been my nemesis since I started to play this game. I've learned a lot from them, and I mean they're great sportsman guys, and so it's totally fine to lose against them. But I really would like to play against them once more and beat them. I've had really good opportunities, but the dice is at those points when I had the opportunities. I mean, they've beaten me fair and square a couple of times, but I've had the edge 2 times, but the dice weren't there. So that's about it. I'm gonna call the rest of the guys, so it's gonna be like a short pause here, and then we're gonna do the interview. They don't know about this before, so we will just ask them the question, see how they answer, and hopefully you like it. So yeah, I'm gonna call them and then we start up. Okay, so here goes. We're gonna do a kind of an interview today with some questions, as I said before, but now Lage and Lasse knows about it. So we can start with the first question is, so who are you? What's your name? Where do you live? And what do you do for a living? And we could start with Lasse.
Sure. So Anders Gustafsson is my full name, and my nickname is Lasse, and that's kind of a long story why that is my nickname. I live in a city called Västerås that lies about 1 hour outside of Stockholm, where I study and work at a warehouse part-time. Yeah.
Yeah. And Lage?
Yeah, my name is John Lagmo. I come from Linköping originally, a Swedish town, but now I live in Uppsala, where I've lived for 6 or 7 years now. I studied here to become a biotechnology engineer. So now I work as a developing engineer for a company called QV-Linja. We work with, we build robots that identify bacteria in sepsis patients.
Cool. So how long have you been playing Warhammer, and how were you introduced to the game, Lage?
I started to play when I was 7 years old, actually. So I've played for a long time. I started during 4th edition, But back then we didn't really play according to rules. We had like our armies and we had both. So I played Warriors of Chaos or what they were called back then. Chaos, I think, just Chaos. So I had like Chaos Warriors, which I equipped with Great Weapon Halberds, everything to get them up to points. And then we just put them into each other's units and roll dice. We didn't like even count combat resolution or anything. But then maybe at age 14, 15, I started to go to some tournaments. We went to these game conventions in Sweden where we played board games and stuff. And I was always, joining my mates, but I always played Warhammer at the tournaments. And then during the nights I played Mafia and other games. And then for like the last 5 years or something, actually when I moved to Uppsala, I started to play it more seriously and went to like every tournament I could find. So, yeah.
But how did you... I mean...
Oh, yeah.
How were you introduced?
I was introduced by a friend of mine, Eric Karnebrandt. I don't think he listens to this show. He like stopped to play the game several years ago. But he had an older brother that played the game. He played Vampire Counts, if I remember correctly. And he introduced us to the game, and we found the figurines cool and put some of them, painted them up. Yeah.
Okay.
So a friend of a friend or a friend directly. Yeah.
And what about Lasse?
I guess it all started with me and my friends. This must have been like 2004 or 2005. We tried to develop a dungeon board game. Pretty much our own version of like Hero Quest. And we needed like something to represent all the monsters and stuff. So I think we bought a couple of boxes of like Chaos Warriors and skeletons and stuff. And then, I don't know, someone just started buying more Warhammer, and it ended up like we just tried the game and started playing, like garage style. Just one of the guys had a table in his garage, and we met over there and played a lot of games. And I think like I always won. and then it was announced like there was this small local tournament, just like maybe 10 or 12 people on a map-based campaign. So I painted up Tomb King army for that and played that one, and then like attended a couple of tournaments arranged by the same guys after that, and then I was hooked. Like the tournament play has always been what has drawn me to this game.
The competitive part.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually had like this group of people. In Sweden we call it förening. I don't know how you say it in English. But from Sverok. And that helped us out a lot, that we got money from the government to play games. It was perfect for a couple of young guys just hanging out. We had like these weekend meetings where we had like sleepovers, and we just played Warhammer and board games all weekends. Yeah, that was like the best thing during my childish years. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it says a lot. But then the question comes, which armies do you own and which army do you prefer? We could take Lage.
I have a lot of models, but I don't really have any army. I like bought and whole Dark Elf army for this year's CC, but then I played Lasse's Dark Elves anyway. And then I have, because I fucking hate to paint the game. I hate to paint models. I love to paint one model, and then I get bored, and then I just don't paint. I can't finish an army. Never,
Okay.
ever. But I have a Demon's army, which is almost finished, at least. I can play with it at 2,400 points. It's like a normal ETC Demon's army. And I have had Vampire Counts, still have some remains, like Grave Guards and some Fellbats and stuff. And then I have had an Warriors of Chaos army, which is, it's scrapped I know that Christian Benberg took some models, like the chariots from it, and my Chaos Knights as well. So yeah, I guess I have some Chaos Warriors. And then I have a Dark Eldar army, which is still in bits. I bought an whole Dark Eldar army when the book came out, and then I didn't do anything with it. So that's my armies.
40k sucks.
Yeah.
But which army do you prefer?
I prefer to like swap armies actually.
But you have to choose one.
Okay, then I choose Dark Elves.
Dark Elves.
Yeah, because it's so flexible. You always choose how to play the game. You choose the tempo of the game. You choose where you commit, and you can shoot stuff. So yeah, it's good, and it fits my playstyle. You can be super aggressive, and you can play avoidance. So.
Yeah. And Lasse, which armies do you own, and which army do you prefer?
So up until like maybe a couple of days ago, I owned a completely painted Dark Elf army, the one that like I used at the ETC. But I traded that one for a Lizardman army and some cash. So currently I'm owning like 80% of a Lizardman army. Only missing like 30-35 Pterodon/Ripperdactyls/Pterodon chieftains. So that's going to be cheap to buy. So yeah, Lizardman, I guess. And regarding my preferred army, I would probably, like a couple of months ago, said Dark Elves. Because, I don't know, I've been playing so many Lizardman games leading up to 2011, 2012, 2013's ETCs. Like hundreds of Lizardman games, just a lot of similar games, you know, against similar lists. But I'm realizing now that I'm starting to paint this army and just thinking about what lists are viable maybe for next year's ETC and stuff like that, that probably this is my favorite army. Because I've been like, why did I ever stop playing Lizardman? Right?
You got sick of it.
Yeah, I guess. But the love is coming back. So yeah, I would have to say Lizardman actually.
Okay.
Closely followed by Dark Elves. For the same reason as like I said.
Yeah. On to the next question then. Which armies have you not played on a tournament, and which of those armies would you like to play at a tournament? We can take Lasse again.
Okay, so off the top of my head I would say Dwarves. I'm pretty sure I've never played Dwarves at a tournament. I don't think I've played Wood Elves on a tournament. No, actually I have played Wood Elves on a tournament, that's not right. I think it might only be
Have you played
Dwarves.
Tomb Kings?
Yeah, that was the first tournament I went to.
Okay.
I took Tomb Kings to that one. And I've been playing Chaos Dwarves, Beastman, all the elf races. Actually, you know what? I have never played Empire on a tournament, I think. Yeah, I've never played Empire on a tournament.
And then maybe the...
But you have played it with the tag team. I mean, we
Oh,
played Empire
Yeah, if that
several
counts.
times with...
Does that count? Because then I haven't played.
I don't know. If you feel it counts.
Okay, so maybe just Dwarves then. And I don't feel like playing Dwarves anyway, so...
No.
I would have to say that.
So I've like never ever played with 10 inch from the back then.
No, pretty much not.
But I
When I
mean,
do-
the second
Yeah, this is
question...
like the best part of Warhammer.
But it's like, and you know what? When I play with cannons, because I have been playing with cannons, like, you know, ETC practice games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they never do as good as when I face them. My cannons, they do nothing. Like, I have never killed anything with a war machine, I think.
You know that you only have to say, okay, 10 inches from that model and it dies. I mean, maybe
So
you do
it's
it wrong.
easy
Maybe you
when I
say
play
10 inches from that wood.
It's like you play with a Frost Phoenix, 50 practice games for ETC, and the one game where you misplace it a bit, and you get one cannon shot off at it, it dies instantly. Never happens to me when I play with cannons, and I like get one shot and kill exactly what I need.
That's because your opponents never misplace their...
I wouldn't agree with that though.
Okay. So then the second question, I mean, you answered it. If you only haven't played Dwarves on a tournament, then that would be the army that you would play on a tournament then. Because you had to choose from... I thought you you had more races that you?
No, actually, I've been playing most races. But then again, some armies, for example, Warriors of Chaos, I would like to take a serious Warriors of Chaos army to a tournament because I've only been playing, the Triple Chimera, 5 Chariots, Demon Prince, 2 Hell Cannons, and I also played beginning of 8th. I played the unit of 40 Chosen with was it 7th edition actually? 40 Chosen that almost automatically got a 3+ ward save with Stubborn.
Yeah.
The entire unit, and then had everything in that unit. So Warriors of Chaos, I haven't really tried them out in a certain way. So maybe like a more common Warriors of Chaos army that could be fun.
Yeah. And what about you, Lang?
Yeah, I have played Dwarves on a tournament. I wouldn't recommend it. I've played them twice even. I don't think I've played Chaos Dwarves, and I have not played the Wood Elves, and not Tomb Kings either. But I've won a tournament with almost every other army except of those.
You cocky fuck! And which of those would you
I would prefer to take Wood Elves. Actually, for next year's ETC, I want to practice Wood Elves a lot, and I want to get I want to play Wood Elves next year at ETC if they are viable.
Yeah.
What tournament did you win with Bretonia?
Oh, I haven't played with Bretonia actually. Either. Didn't think of Bretonia.
Question 10 from Lasse.
Maybe I might have missed some as well. I haven't hit one with
Lizardmen, High Elves, Ogres.
I won with those, not with Ogres.
There is something
I won with
wrong in the
9
statistics.
or something. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, there are
most
more.
is only 50%. So.
Yeah, that's.
There are more armies that you haven't played than Lasse, and you would prefer Wood Elves.
Yeah.
To play it. Okay. Then another question. Which tournament or tournament win or placement in a tournament are you most proud of? And you cannot say the ETC 2014. So, Lasse?
Oh, wow. I would actually say, my best memory, because I've won a few tournaments, but I think I had in 7th edition I had a 3rd place at GothCon when it was still really big, when all the 7th edition really good players were still playing, and I think that 3rd place meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because that was I think that was my first podium ever.
Yeah.
This was way back in maybe 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
And I can still remember that meant a lot to me, because that meant because I think I beat won against a few good ETC players and stuff like that. So yeah, that meant a lot to me.
And for those listening, or for you guys, I explained the GothCon earlier when I answered it, because my proudest moment, I had 2. It was the 2nd place at GothCon and the 3rd place at the Swedish Championship, with an army that is not supposed to win at all, the whole thing. So that was nice for me. And then I kind of briefly described GothCon.
Oh, cool.
So, and what about you, Lage?
Yeah, for me it's actually 3 moments, if that's fine.
Yeah.
It's first off, it's my first placement, and it's the 2nd place at the Swedish Championship. I played this really cheesy ETC Demon's Chaos list. It was 2,000 points. Every other army was 2,200, I think. It was back in 7th edition or something. And it was my first placement. No one expected me to take top 3, and I got it. So I was really proud of that moment. It was one of my first bigger tournaments as well, after I started to play it more seriously. So it was that thing. I feel. I think of it as the start of my career, actually.
Okay.
Then it's 2 other tournaments. It's Shadow Games 2012, I guess, and I don't know, Masters Meeting, or what you say it. like this last time it was played, Mästermötet, which I won, which was also 2 big tournaments, because there were only good players at the tournaments. Like half the starting lineup at the Shadow Games was ETC leveled people, and Mästermötet is an invitational for all people which have a good placement during that year. So those 2 wins are also really important for me, because it's like a good receipt that you're one of the top players in the country.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
And now for some funnier things. Who is your
Yep.
nemesis in the Swedish Warhammer community? Or not only the Swedish, if you have someone else, but who is your nemesis? Lage?
Oh, I need to think about that.
Lasse? Maybe you know?
Christian, I think. I smash everyone else. I mean, like, not all the time, of course, but I never smash Christian for some reason. It's always lucky and such a... I hate like... I think we've faced each other like 10 times on tournaments, and it's always been like 10-10 or 9-11, 11-9 or something.
I mean, he's always lucky.
A fucking roadblock.
Okay, Lage?
Yeah. I think it might be Per. I don't know his last name actually.
What does he play?
I played him when he played. I'm not really sure if it was him actually during like.
You're so good, you don't have any nemesis.
Yeah, exactly. Then it will be Kai actually, because I can never win over Kai. We always play drawish teams.
Yeah, Kai is really tough.
Talk smack to him and he gets all...
Yeah, I say
balance.
Kai then. I can't say Kai then.
Okay.
Because I can't simply beat him. We always play too tight, both of us. We don't want to lose, so we always play draws, and that's never good for our game. Tournament results.
You need to bring up the unexpected, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Then I collected some questions from players. I'm not going to say who said or who wanted to know each question. I'm just going to take the questions.
Yep.
And then I haven't checked their facts, so I'm just going to put the question out there, and if you don't really agree, it's fine. So the first one is for Lage.
Yeah.
You played 4 ETCs.
Yeah.
With 4 different armies.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 different races.
Yeah.
Comments on that?
Yeah. I've done that because of Hampus and the team.
Fuck you, man.
That's not really true, but I'm one of the more versatile players in the Swedish team, and I think that's because I'm kind of a fast learner. I can play many different roles. I like to play aggressive, I like to play defensive, and I can adapt kind of fast in army. So I've always been like the last shot for the army to, like, we will bring one army that is we bring simply because of the restrictions, and we put me on that one. And that's at least how I see it. You can also comment on that because you've been part of it.
No, I mean, we both know.
And I like to play different armies. That's like the most important thing, I guess.
Yeah, and for me as a captain, it's really important to have players that are versatile and can play a lot of armies, especially when it comes down to the last 2-3 picks, because then you maybe you have to change in the last second. Okay, we're not going to play this because we think that the meta is going this way, and therefore you're a very good player for that.
I can give a tip to everyone out there. If you think that you have stagnated on your play, try to play different armies, because you learn a lot about your army when you play against it instead of playing with it. So you can see your weaknesses and strength with the army, and learn to take advantage of those.
And especially play armies that, if you play, for example, high elves and you have really problems with dark elves, then play some dark elves against high elves, and because when you play the army, you quickly see what you're afraid of, and then you can use that to your advantage when you move back to your main army.
Yeah.
And then for Lasse, I have a question now. How did you feel when you? I think I'm not sure if it was this ETC or the ETC before, but the question is like this. How did you feel when you almost got 0 points against Skaven and then the game afterwards got crushed by Poland? I'm not sure if it's correct. I've just put the question out there.
Got crushed by Poland or crushed Poland?
Got crushed by Poland.
Oh, okay.
Almost.
Well, I got 1 point against Skaven, first of all.
Yeah, that's why I said when you almost got 0 points.
Ah, okay. And that, of course, felt really bad because I had such a
that was the winter game, right?
Yeah. And the thing is that I got 1 point in that game, but it doesn't really reflect the game because I was playing good the entire game, you know.
Yeah.
I felt like I was on top of my game, and one decision or lack of a decision made such a huge impact in the game. And if he hadn't rolled an irresistible force there, or if I had remembered to put my characters outside of the unit, it would have been like 13-7 to me or something like that, 12-8, maybe 11-9. So it got a lot of... it meant so much, that small mistake, and I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
Then we played a few games, but the Poland game I actually won 20-0, so I'm not sure about that one.
Maybe I misunderstood when he asked the question.
Wasn't that like the Vampekans player that pushed?
Yeah, exactly. And I just have to say that felt really good because that was kind of like a well, how do you say a revenge? How do you say it?
Revenge?
No, not revenge. Not revenge, but like I got my honor back a bit.
Yeah.
I felt it meant a lot for my self-confidence. So that felt really good to be able to get those points, and they were kind of important, those points as well, because it was a tight game versus Poland.
I have to recheck that question. Maybe I just read it wrong when I translated it, but I will look into it. I have another question for you, Lasse. It's from me.
Okay.
You made several videos for the Swedish ETC team.
Yep.
So why have you done them, and do you think that the ETC needs more of this?
So first of all, yes, I definitely think so, that the ETC or the community needs stuff like these streams and stuff. For example, this show and podcast in general. Why I did them? Well, first of all, they helped me keep the practice games regular. Like I knew that, okay, so I'm not going to stream like 5 or 6 games and then just not do it anymore. So I kind of felt pushed towards, finding an opponent and getting these games done. And also it's kind of like an experiment as well, which has led up to what we're doing today with the live streaming of Warhammer games with commentators.
Yeah.
With live WFB, as we call it, where me and Lage commentate the game. So it was kind of like something leading up to that, just trying out. Do people want to see Warhammer streamed? And also, I guess, like when people watch you play, you have to play so much better.
Yeah.
You have to think about everything you do. Like every move matters, and I actually think that it really helped my game. Those few games that I played.
Yeah.
So,
it's good for the nervousness. I mean,
Yeah.
when you play at ETC and you're like the last player in the team, and both teams are standing around the table, and even more viewers, like these hangarounds, you have like 30 people watching the game. It's a real pressure on you.
Yeah.
You can really feel that. The decisions are, I mean, at least I get a little bit numb in the head for every decision. I don't have this sharpness that I usually do. And that's, for me, it's kind of scary, actually.
I think it's when you lose a bit of confidence just because people are watching you and they're judging your moves and stuff. And you might be a lot better than those players, but you still feel like you lose a bit of confidence just because you're like,
it's a confidence issue, because you feel that you don't like push as hard and you don't play these half risky moves that you usually do, and then you might have a problem with mop-up or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just have to stress also the main issue. All the things I said are really important, but the main issue is really that, like DTC and Warhammer in general, just stuff like that, I think helps the community.
Yeah.
maybe just in a small way, but also for you to see, like, just to raise awareness of it. Because when I wasn't on the team, you basically had no insight to what was going on, like who's going to play what and
It was
how
a black box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully that it helps when you get to see like the practice games going on, and I can also answer questions. Like someone could be like, "Oh, why did you take that in your army?" or "Why did you do that now?" And it also makes me think about my decisions.
Yeah. Okay, so got a couple of questions more then, and we're kind of finished. We'll take that one. So we can log in. Do you feel embarrassed when you have to tell normal people that you play Warhammer?
Not really, no. It's not the first thing that I say to a person at the club or something. But for example, everyone at my work knows what I'm doing. They know that I go to tournaments, that I do like travel around the world to play this miniature game. So no, not really. No. I was before, like in my during my teenager years. I wouldn't go up. I couldn't like say it to a girl or something. That wouldn't have happened.
Have it become?
But now it's a so big part of my life. So I'm not ashamed of it or anything like that. No.
Have it become easier because it's competitive?
Yeah, I think so. Because then it's more. I see it more as a sport. Or like chess or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have minded to if it was only a hobby or painting. But for example, like most girls that you talk to are more into painting stuff anyway, and they think that's the cool part of it, or like the nice side that you actually create stuff with your hands, and yeah, it's beautiful. Not in my case, but.
Lasse?
I'm gonna have to say the same. Like in the teenage years, yes, it was an issue. But now, yes, I feel embarrassed when I tell people, but only for like 1 or 2 seconds, and then it feels kind of good, you know. And it's not something that I'm embarrassed about, but you know, there are always like preconceptions, and but I'm actually kind of proud of it, actually, in a sense. Like, yeah, we're pretty good at what we do, you know. Yeah. I'm pretty good at what I do, so.
And right now, the best in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would be embarrassed though if people saw these videos. I think. I mean, people outside of the Warhammer community tune into this and watch it.
Nah, I don't think so.
That would be worse for me.
I don't think there's anything embarrassing with people doing what they love. You know,
No.
Whatever it is.
No.
I agree.
I can't think of anything like I would be like, oh, that's embarrassing.
I mean, for all the hours people put into different hobbies and things, it's respect. I mean, they do it because they love it and it's their choice. I don't think you should have any. I mean, if they love it, that's fine. Nobody else should care.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
Okay, so what is the most important attribute as a Warhammer player, Lasse?
Confidence.
Confidence?
Yeah.
So you mean like if you lose, you should have the confidence, okay, I have to learn, get better, and come back?
Well, like, at least for me, when I'm not confident, I'm not playing good Warhammer, and when I'm confident, that's when I play my best Warhammer. Okay. And I think this game is, and I've said this many times, but it's decided a lot about when you play someone and you either think you're better than them or they think you're better than them.
Yeah.
So if your opponent thinks you're the best, he's not going to win.
No.
Like how it doesn't matter how good he is. If you play 10 games, you're going to win the majority of them just because he thinks that.
Yeah.
And then of course, like rules and stuff like that is really important. But I think that's what makes a good player a great player. Confidence.
Okay. And Lage, you have had some seconds to think about it?
Yeah. For development, humbleness. to like be able to admit that I didn't play this game perfectly. Where can I improve? Always ask yourself that question. And for me, that's humbleness. Or I think you say it like that in ödmjukhet in English. I think it's humbleness. But also like deep thinking. I know in chess, for example, that they talk about like seeing deep into the game. Several draws into the game, they see like 10 turns ahead. You can't see that in Warhammer, but for example, see 2 turns ahead is really, really important, and always have that in mind. What is going to happen here? What can happen here? What happens here if I, for example, stay on Snake Eyes or something? Could it be really bad if they get reform and stuff like that?
And that's a nice answer, because that brings me to the last question. What is the most embarrassing mistake you've done in the Warhammer game? And we're talking in the competitive scene. So we're gonna start with Lagge. He's laughing. So
I'm like during this ETC I made like 3 huge mistakes, but they're not even close to the one that I made at BSK like 2 or 3 years ago. But my opponent made like an equally bad mistake as well. So I was playing Björn Eriksson from Jönköping, Hims player, and he's playing this Wares of Chaos list, which Christian Wenberg had made, and he had this item necrotic, what's it called?
Necrotic Phylactery.
Yeah, Necrotic Phylactery. So you're like immune to Shadow and Death and some other stuff. Can't really remember. Poison.
Characteristic tests.
Poison,
I think it was Shadow Magic and Death Magic. Never mind, doesn't matter. It was immune to Pit of Shades.
Yeah.
And he also had the Infernal Puppet, the magic item which like made all the miscast worse.
Yeah.
So I played him with my Dark Elf list, and it was a really bad matchup for me because I really couldn't handle his army at all. And I got the first turn, I remember, and I was like, this is my only chance. So I just chucked 5 dice on Pit of Shades, trying to hit it, and I got hit, and he failed his initiative 5 test and died. He totally forgot about the item, and the main reason was that he like hadn't built his list himself, I guess. Yeah, but
dangerous of taking a net list.
Yeah, exactly. And I had like thrown it with an irresistible force as well, and if he was immune, I would like have killed 1 or 2 warriors, and then I would have a miscast in my face with with an Infernal Puppet. So I got lucky there because he was even worse than I. But that's definitely the worst play I've made ever.
Lasse?
I can think of 2 huge mistakes. Well, I guess like the most embarrassing one must be the Wither here at ETC, but actually I'm not really that embarrassed about it because it's an easy mistake to make, and it's at the ETC and you're pressured, and it only, I mean, if you hadn't rolled the irresistible force, no one would ever know about it.
What was the mistake?
I guess, well, the mistake is not taking all the characters out of the unit and just giving them a few battle points in characters just to save the points around the 10-10 instead of gambling on a big loss. But I guess like one other mistake is probably the one also at the BSK, I think, where I played Kai Jonsson, Skaven, and I played the...
We're laughing because we know what he's going to talk about.
It's definitely like, and so I was playing one of my ETC lists, I think like 2012 or 2011 years ETC list. And I've got a big unit of Saurus, maybe like 30 Saurus, and a Slan Mage in a building against the Skaven army. And so we're standing there, and I'm taking some points off him, and he's taking a few skinks off me. And he rolls Crack's Cold towards the building. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to destroy the building on a 4+. I think it's a 4+, right?
5+.
5+. Okay, yeah, sure. So it's going to destroy the building on a 5+. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and when the building is destroyed, I can face my unit either way as long as like their footprint is in contact where the building was. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, and you have your like, and he had like a unit of maybe 30 clone rats with the Grey Seer and his BSB just outside the building. They were the ones throwing the spell. So I'm like, I'm going to be able to put my 30 Saurus facing his flank, and he's not going to be able to flee because I'm going to catch him if he flees. So this is just, so I'm like, yeah, you can have it, absolutely. And so he's like rolling the dice, and he rolls like a 4 or something, and he's like, damn! I'm like, damn! So close to getting his Gracie there. And so next turn, same situation. Nothing has really happened, and he throws the spell again, and I'm like, so you realize that the building is now going to explode because he had thrown the spell, and I'm like, and I'm going to put my Saurus out, and you're going to lose your Gracier. So I just have to ask, is there something I'm missing? And he's like, well, yeah, if the building is destroyed, every unit or every model inside the building has to take an initiative test or die, and there's no lookout stars. And I'm like, what? Holy shit! So I'm like, okay, scroll. And that
emergency exit.
Just right over my head. And I also won that game, so unfair.
Yeah, it was the same in my game. I mean, huge mistakes, and we just smashed the game.
Yeah.
So funny.
So that was all the questions I had. I got like five, 6 questions from the community, and hopefully people know you a little bit better. We're gonna have this video, so like who we are, if somebody wants to know more about us, and maybe we have to do a new one in next year or something. But for now, this is us, and that's it for today. Next episode, I don't know what we're gonna discuss, but we will be back in a week or 2. And any shout-outs or anything, except at the end of the video there's an address for Twitter and Facebook if you want to follow us.
Yeah, and also for those who don't know, we're doing the live WFB live stream. I'm not sure if we're going to do it, when we're going to do it this week, but maybe we could put a link to that as well. Maybe.
Yeah, of course. I can put it to you have a Facebook page now, yeah?
No, we have a YouTube account, but
YouTube. But you could subscribe to that and get information, or maybe I could put it to the Twitch.
I think put it to Twitch, and then people can follow, because when we go live, you will get a mail, so you know when we're live. And since it's a long game, you can always, like, if you're at a party or something, you can always tune in, leave the party and go home and watch Warhammer instead.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for the community, take care, and we'll see you next time.
Later, dudes.
Bye.
See ya.